welcome to a recording. I'm gonna be playing Umineko no Naku Koru ni Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. Or if you prefer English, When the Seagulls Cry. Basically, I was just minding my own business, trying to watch anime one day, and my internet's been shit all week. Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate. But I thought we would just do a nice bit of reading while my internet's down. And yeah, this... Wait, how am I gonna fucking upload this? Oh, well, who gives a crap? 'Cause I'm going to be reading. What the fuck just happened then? Start. Ding dong ding. So, I think I forgot to create a save for this game, so I'm just gonna have to start with that episode 1. I'm a big fan of Higurashi, one of my favourite series in fact. I've not read it all, I've only read the first thing, so if you want me to do that one, I'll do it. Oh, right, here we go. New function, tips mode. In the middle of the game at any time, a right click with the mouse will open the tips mode. Here, besides the save and load functions, you can view character profiles and more. Additional information will be added as you progress through the story. Probably a good idea to take a peek here every once in a while. Okay, so that's going to be useful because in the Higurashi version, the tips... Oh, sorry, it's very obviously fictional and fantastic. And yeah, you read that. Oh yeah, by the way, I am using the 7th mod, which is a mod which basically makes the game sprites a lot nicer, I would say. I mean, I've got the options menu here, so I can... oh wait, that's... that... Adventure mode is basically the... I don't think there's a way to change the... Yeah, no, I don't think there's a way to change the avatars, so I've got them currently set to the PS3 sprites. Which, I mean, I guess is okay. This is 7th mod, so basically it allows me to, have nicer graphics, because the other two options would be the Steam version sprites, which some sprites just don't look nice. I mean, one of the characters has massive tartars, and another guy looks like a fucking corpse. So yeah, and then you got the OG sprites, which I'm not gonna blame 7th expansion for them, but like, they aren't so good. So yeah, let's start with reading this. We'll do an hour of reading every time I want to do one of these. I don't know, comment, like, or whatever, and I'll do whatever. So you still haven't overcome your love of alcohol. Wait, did I miss a part? How do I access the backlog? Not that way. Let me... I don't know how to open the backlog. Okay, there we go. Again. So you still haven't overcome your love of alcohol. The old physician let out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope from... Fuck. I've got dyslexia, I think, so, yeah, just... If I do say wrong things, or... That's why, and I just kind of fill in sentences most of the time, so I'm gonna end up saying something dumb anyway. The old physician let out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope. Two elderly men could be seen in the dimly lit study, which was filled with dust and sickly sweet stench. In the corner of his room, which was much larger than what most people would call a study, was an expensive-looking bed, a man undergoing a medical examination and the physician conducting it. There was also what appeared to be a servant watching over the whole scene. The bottle is my friend. It is no less of a friend than you, and it has stood by my side even longer than you have. As the man baring his chest for the stethoscope rearranged his clothes, he spoke unapologetically. Kinzo-san, your body only appears to be well thanks to the effects of the medicine. However, if you continue to drink such strong spirits, the treatment will become meaningless. Trust my judgment. Refrain from drinking. I thank you, though only for the sentiment. My friend, Genji. Another glass. Water it down slightly. That way Nanjo can save face. Are you quite sure? After eyeing both the master who demanded the alcohol and the family doctor who forbade it, Genji, the old butler, silently gave a slight nod and carried out his master's orders faithfully. The family doctor, Nanjo, let out a deep sigh once again as he watched the butler busy himself alongside the liquor cabinet. There was a smell filling up the room. This sweet, poisonous aroma felt as though it melted the heart, if not the soul itself. It was the smell of the venomous green drink that the man couldn't bear to part with. Nanjo, you are my close friend, and we have known each other for quite a long time. I am deeply grateful for all that you have done to keep me alive for this long. I have done nothing. After all, you never listened to my advice as your... See what I mean? After all, you never listened to my advice as your physician. You know, I'm not voicing a laugh, I'm... yeah. And you never listen when I warn you about a mistake, chess move you're about to make. It seems only fair, does it not? Master. Thank you. I wouldn't die if I ran out of your medicine, but if I ran out of this... Disregarding Nanjo, who had his face set in a resigned expression, Kinzo took the glass that Genji was holding out to him. Very few people would associate that venomous color with an alcoholic beverage. Nanjo, be honest with me. How much time do I have left? Well now, how short must I make it to convince you to set the bottle aside? Nanjo once again let out a sigh of resignation. Then he finally spoke to Kinzo as the latter swirled his glass. You don't have long. What precisely do you mean by that? Let us illustrate it with the chess game here. You have very nearly achieved checkmate, but you have not yet cornered my king. Nanjo's gaze was directed at a table with a massive chess set placed on top of it. Judging by the position of the pieces, the game seemed to be entering its final stage. Black's rook and bishop were cutting deeply into enemy lines. White's king had already been castled and cornered, so that even an amateur could see that the match would reach its conclusion before too long. Every time Nanjo came to give a medical examination, both of them would make a few moves. Nanjo was hinting that Kinzo would most likely fall into his eternal sleep before this game could be concluded. These were less words of a physician than they were words of an old friend. Were you a normal patient? I would recommend that you write a will at this point. And what is a will, Nanjo? Handwritten instructions to the vultures on how to devour and scatter my corpse? No, not at all. As the word suggests, it is a way for you to record your will for later generations. It is far more than just a means to divide up your inheritance. Oh. And apart from the division of my inheritance, what might I write of it? You might write of your regrets, or matters you have left unfinished, things you want to pass down to others, or merely matters you wish to communicate. Anything you want. Things I want to pass down to others, matters I wish to communicate. Ridiculous. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, have not one thing I want to tell or leave behind. I was born with nothing. I will die with nothing. There is nothing I wish to leave to my foolish children. Even if the end were to come today, even if it were to come right now, I would accept that fate of death without a trace of fear. I created everything. My fortune, my prestige, everything. Those were built up by me, and they will be lost along with me. There is nothing I wish to leave behind. Nothing. After I'm gone, I care not if it all goes to waste. I desire no tomb, no coffin. Those were the terms of the contract I made with the witch. When I die, everything will be lost. That has been part of the promise since the beginning, and that's why nothing will be left behind. There is nothing I can leave behind. After reaching a furious crescendo, Kinzo suddenly slumped over. His expression was limp and feeble, as though an evil spirit had possessed him and then left. However, I do have one regret. I have nothing to leave I have nothing to leave behind, but there is one thing I cannot leave undone. You would do well to write it down. Of course, it would be best if you could finish it before your time comes. However, even if the worst happens, those who come after you will carry it to completion. You must leave behind your regrets so that they can be resolved, even if you are unable to do so yourself. That is the purpose of a will. When Nanjo tried to gently pat Kinzo's shoulder, the dying man flew into a sudden rage and battered away Nanjo's hand. It's useless, useless, useless. It must be done while I still live. At the moment of my death, my soul will be devoured by the demons of the contract and wiped out of existence. For me, there will be no peace or another world after death. That's why everything must be completed before I go. That's why a will has no meaning for me. And even if I had a chance to write such a thing, if I did have such a chance, I'd want to see it. I want to see it one more time. I want to see Beatrice's smile face one last time. Oh, Beatrice, why have you resisted me for so long? I'll return everything you have given me. I am prepared to lose everything. So please show me your smile just one more time. Beatrice, I beg of you. You must be able to hear my plea. That's the kind of woman you are. I beg of you, show yourself to me. You're here, aren't you? You're standing there, invisible, listening to every word I say, and even now you're mocking me from somewhere in this room, aren't you? Please appear before me once more and smile. Feel free to scold me, even snatch away my life by your own hands, if you so desire. I don't want to die alone like this. I cannot let myself die until I've seen your smile just one more time. Ah, Beatrice. Beatrice. I offer up this life of mine. I offer it up to you. I'm begging you, Beatrice. Oh wait, I could have just clicked to skip it. Fuck. The first day, October 4th, 1986. Oh yeah, before this continues, I would like to say one thing. I have read, no, I've watched all of Umineko, the anime adaptation. It's really bad because it's only like 24 episodes and it covers 4 whole arcs. So that's why we're going to be reading it together. Unless they make another anime adaptation, I might just drop the series entirely. Oh yeah, I'm going to cut out the opening because it probably contains copyrighted shit, and it's really not good content because I might get a copyright strike even though I'm like tiny as. Because I'm pretty sure I've been copyrighted before, but like it didn't count as a strike because I'm not big enough to get a strike, I think. But I should be careful about that stuff, just in case. We got yawn up first. Oh yeah, as I was saying before, if you want me to read Higurashi Okikon, is it pronounced Sikonia or Kikonia? It's a type of stalk, so I don't really know. But if you want me to read Higurashi or Sikonia, I'm gonna say Sikonia because that's what people say. If you want me to read Higurashi or Sikonia, please put it in the comments or something, and I might start going along with this series, because these series are easy to make because I just have to read, you know? And even if it's not entertaining, I'll just read for you, because like audiobook pretty much, innit? I'll repeat this again at the end because we are going for an hour-long recording, and I don't want to read for an hour, so I'm just filling in the time. Yeah, sorry about that. If you want me to do some editing decisions, make sure to put those in the comments too. So basically, I'd like to summarize that scene. Basically, Ginzo is terminally ill, and he's got an obsession with a girl, Beatrice, as you can tell. Yeah, so let's continue. We are now Ushiromiya Battler. Do we get any tips? How do I check tips? Let me in system. Yes, tips. We don't have any tips or characters. Whoa. Things sure move with the times. I can't believe we'll be able to make the trip in just 20 minutes. I couldn't help but scratch my head and marvel at how far things have come in the recent years. We used to go by boat. Back then we were forced to endure nearly half a day swaying back and forth over the sea before we reached Nijima. Things have gotten so much more convenient these days. Still, I've never been on a plane this small. It's flown in a huge jumbo jet before, but this'll be my first experience in such a tiny one. It's gonna shake, isn't it? They say smaller boats shake more than big ones, so I guess the same rule probably applies to planes. Ah, just spare me. This is George. Don't worry, Battler. It shakes much less than that boat did. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stop using honorifics because it doesn't really work in English. They leave it in because I don't know, they just leave it in. I don't know. Yeah, is that you, George? Aniki? I heard Aniki in Yakuza 3 when I was playing through that. Isn't that like to talk about someone superior or something? I don't know. I'll research that afterwards, maybe. Okay, let's go. Don't scare me like that. You just shaved 3 years off my life. Anyway, what's shaking? Got to do with anything? You didn't think I'm actually scared of the plane shaking or maybe falling out of the sky or something, right? Oh, of course not. My mistake. I see you've changed a lot since we last saw you. After all, it's been 6 years since then. You're not a kid anymore. Jeez. And here you are, old enough to smoke and drink. I've got no interest in smoking, but I've always wanted to try some booze. Well, if you've got your dad's genes, I'll bet you can hold your own when it comes to drinking, right? Well, I usually drink for business rather than pleasure. It's pretty hard to do business in Japan without it. That's exactly right. That's why I never miss a chance to get some That's why I never miss a chance to get some practice. Right, I'm just not gonna say that, right? I'm just gonna continue. That's no good, Battle. You're still a minor. Don't you know alcohol can stunt the growth of... never mind. Come on, I'm tall enough already. In fact, it'd be easier to find clothes if I shrunk a little. I puffed my chest out proudly. Until I hit my growth spurt, my height was below average in my class. But then I grew, and before I knew it, I had passed 180 centimeters, 5'11" inches. I guess I have all that muscle training and those shady mail order performance enhancing drugs to thank for that. Wait, oh fuck, I've just realised my it's picking up my mouse. Can I turn that off? Capture cursor off. Okay. There we go, that's not going on anymore, so you can't, that won't distract. I'm sorry about that. I guess I have all the muscle training and those shady mail order performance enhancing drugs to thank for that. Before then, I never dreamed that I'd shoot to 10 centimeters above George, Aniki, who'd reached his peak height early on. Right, I'm just gonna stop saying Aniki as well, because it's probably like an honorific, I guess? It's like you don't say Mr. to an old friend, unless you're teasing them, of course, in England, so that's probably why it's weird. Well, in all English-speaking countries. Damn, I'll bet my relatives all say, look how big you've grown, Battler, or something. Yeah, it says Chan because he's being teased and shit. Yeah. It's also embarrassing. I wish they'd just give me a break. Anyway, my name is... Anyway, oh fuck, yawn. Anyway, my name is Battler. Well, it's pretty damn weird, don't you think? I've gotta wonder what my parents were thinking when they named me that. I've never met anyone who could read it right the first time. I usually get called Sento. Sorry, but that's not even close. I'm assuming it's one of those where the kanji or something is... My name is written. I'm gonna assume that first part is Ushiromiya and that last part is Battler. I can only guess because I'm not Japanese. That one's longer, so that must mean it's the surname, right? Also, surnames usually come first, so yeah. Can you read it? No, I'm English. The first part is my yeah, see, the first part is my family's name, Ushiromiya. That's a fairly plausible Japanese pronunciation so far. The problem is my given name. Those two are made up of the characters for fight and person, and it's pronounced battler. Put it all together and you've got Ushiromiya Battler. Pretty crazy, right? It's crazy enough that my parents decided to call me that, but it's even more crazy that some government worker let them make it official. Wait, do we have any... Because we met George. Do we have a character profile? We've got battlers. Ushiromiya Battler, the son of Rudolph and his first wife Asumu. When his father married a second wife shortly after Asumu's death, Battler rebelled and went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he has now returned to the Ushiromiya family after 6 years. This family conference is a chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6-year gap. No tips, so let's get back. Surely. To be fair, it is like 3 AM when I'm recording this. Both groups are at the top of my must-kill list. Wait, what? Ha! I did say that. Anyway, this is one of my cousins. His name is Ushiromiya George. Pronounced Ushiromiya George. He's 5 years older than me, so he must be turning 23 this year? Since the Ushiromiya cousins consist of 2 boys and 2 girls, I ended up playing with George all the time. And because I've always thought of him as a big brother, I still call him Aniki today. That's like yeah. It's like an elder kind of thing. Whoa, Battler! Look how big you've gotten. You know what they say, leave a boy for 3 days and you'll hardly recognize him. It must be in his blood. Rudolph wasn't that tall either until his high school years. Perhaps people end up taller if their growth spurt comes late. Nah, it's nothing special. A real man needs to be tough on the inside too. Exactly. Battler here knows how it works. Real men win or lose based on what they've got inside. Can't ever forget to keep it up. Your training and discipline. You gotta wait very alertly for the perfect moment and strike. Now, I never even imagined that I'd become the company president I am today, master of my own domain. Yep, to think that I've come this far after starting out penniless and ruined. This stout plump old guy is George Aniki's dad, Uncle Hideyoshi. He's the husband of Dad's older sister. In other words, we're not blood related. He's nice to children, sociable all the time, and even quick to give out some spending money to his kids. Simply put, he's an awesome uncle. He speaks in an odd and very noticeable Kansai dialect, but he's actually a natural-born Kanto man. Those are prefectures, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently impressions are everything in the business world, so speaking in a different style than other people is an act that makes him stick out more. However, I hear he gets embarrassed when talking within earshot of real Kansai person, so he switches back to standard Japanese. I don't really get it, but he's definitely an interesting person. Yeah, like it doesn't have these descriptions in the anime, so yeah. Maybe I should turn down the character volume. Because that might like be louder than my voice. So in the comments just say that, because literally the only editing I'm doing is like cutting out a slight bit at the end. If only you weren't so quick to brag about your life story. That's enough for now, I think. I'm sure Battler's getting tired of it. Aren't you? No, not at all. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's pretty cool for a man to have some stories he can brag about. I don't have anything like that at all. Oh really? I'd imagine a man with your looks would leave girls crying left and right. I can't believe you have nothing at all to brag about. What? You're joking, right? Of course nothing weird like that's ever happened to me. Heck, I wish it would. Come on, you aren't fooling anyone. You must tell your aunt all about it later. After all, nothing of the sort ever happens to George. Fuck, I'm not doing a woman's voice. This is George Aniki's mother. Fuck, I said I was gonna stop doing the Aniki thing. Mother, Aunt Eva. She's my dad's older sister. She and Uncle Hideyoshi are a pair of jokers, and they've always teased me back as far as I can remember. This sometimes made them a bit hard to get along with when I was small. Well, I guess the events of the last 30 years prove that they can still be hard to get along with. Even so, George Aniki's family is interesting and fun, and they seem to get along just fine. Sheesh, that's pretty much the total opposite of my family. Oh, this one's Ushiromi Kirie? Battler-kun? Have you seen Rudolph-san? Fuck, I did the honorifics. Huh? He headed off to the bathroom a while ago. Is he not back yet? Maybe the poor geezer dropped dead. I'm assuming that's one of those, is that a sound effect for drowning in his own poop? Or something? I don't know. I'm not, again, not good with Japanese things, so I can actually say a couple Japanese words when it comes to certain songs. But thing is, like songs I've listened to constantly. That's no way to talk to you about your own father. Still, this isn't the first time he's taken so long in the bathroom. Yeah, the guy's always been that way. Does he really have to take a magazine with him every time he needs to take a dump? And what on earth is he doing in there with those particular magazines? Oh, you don't need to worry about that at all. Since we've been together, I haven't let him do that on his own. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh, I'll have to get juicy details later. Sounds like Dad's got his balls in grip. For all of you who don't get dirty jokes, he's talking about masturbation. Yeah. You know exactly what would happen with that man if I didn't keep a tight grip, don't you? No kidding. You're the only one capable of reining in that old bastard. As a son, I'm more than happy to let you take over. Yes, leave it all to me. After all, that's my speciality. This woman is my father's wife. Her name is Ushiramare Kirie. As you can probably tell from our conversation, she's not my real mother. She's basically my stepmother. My real mom died 6 years ago, and Kirie is the woman Dad married afterwards. It's understandable for someone my age. I could never bring myself to call his new wife Mom. And I should probably stop recording these on late at night. Everyone I do is like pitch black. And I doubt she feels like using the word son on this massive kid who's no relation to her at all. Right, yeah, that's right, I'm just bad. We aren't little kids. We know there's nothing to be gained by fighting. So we decided that we wouldn't force ourselves to pretend that we were family. I've decided to act... Again, yawn! I've decided to act a bit more frank with her, acting as though she's a friendly neighbour instead. It's much easier if we keep a little distance instead of forcing ourselves to act all close and making each other more uncomfortable. Kirie has always been very open about all this, and thanks to that, we've been able to get along pretty well. Then just when we were bad-mouthing Dad about being in the bathroom, the man himself came back, wiping his hands with a handkerchief. I'll make this one 2 hours long, you know? I'll make it 2 hours long, and then all the others will be about an hour long then. Just as a test run, because I like beginning episodes to be very long. Battler? Hey, what's up, Dad? Oh. Whoa. Don't pinch my ear, gah. So you've been talking trash about me with Mom again, haven't you? What makes it so hard to show a little respect for your father? Ow. Damn it, that hurts. You can stretch my ear all you want, but I'm not gonna be able to fly. That hurts. Come on now. Up. 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 Down. Down. Left. I have a feeling I know where this is going. Right. Left. Right. That is the Konami code without the letters. Up, down, left, right, BA start. Now, say, Father, please forgive me for being rude. Like hell I will. Go find yourself some members only store if you want that much. Yeah, let go. This old bastard is my dad. I think, I think I'm pretty tall myself, but Dad's just as tall as I am. It's no surprise Aunt Eva started talking about Dad's blood when she saw my height. By the way, my height isn't the only thing I got from him. It seems having weird names runs in the family. Dad's full name is written... Yeah. You can't read it, can you? Come on, it's just... Anyway, this guy's name is pronounced Rudolph. He must hate grandfather for giving him that name. Still, that's no reason to pass that weird naming tradition onto me. As the old bastard twisted my ear all over the place. That was a burp. It's different from what I was normally expecting. Ah, there we go. Aunt Eva snuck behind him and grabbed his ear. Hey Rudolph, you should know better than to physically abuse your son. Yeah, that hurts, Anarchy. Oh, wait, fuck, he calls up. Okay. This scene perfectly illustrated their relationship between the prankster younger brother and the older sister who could deal out punishment to him despite his size. I think that's good enough for now, Eve-san. I'll make sure to stretch out his other ear later on. Oh my, apologies. I must leave some pulling for you to do, Curious. Rudolph? Make sure Kyria gives you lots and lots of punishment later on, okay? You'll want to talk. Abusing your little brother like that? Hideyoshi-Nisan, I'd like to thank you very much for picking her up. If you hadn't been so generous, she'd still be unsold in the store. You have my gratitude and apologies. What? Who are you calling unsold? After taking 3 steps back. Aunt Eva unleashed one of her beautiful high reverse roundhouse kicks, which stopped just a centimeter away from the tip of Dad's nose. After starting out with Tai Chi, I'm just going to say Tai Chi, for her figure, Aunt Eva then developed an interest in the Chinese martial arts. Oh yeah, the outfit is very similar to a Chinese outfit. After that, she went through karate, taekwondo, capoeira, and what is it she's learning now again? Well, anyway, they say a woman's weapons are in her lower body, and that's literally true for Eva. Rudolph. Did you know that a single direct blow to the side of the head like that would knock you unconscious? Not so long ago, I accidentally connected in a practice match, and my opponent was out cold. Sheesh, what a pain. I'm so sorry she can't help walking like a freak. Dad, completely unfazed, shrugged and smiled ironically at Uncle Hideyoshi. Never had a brother or sister myself, so when I see you two bickering with each other, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It sure is nice to have a big family. Oh, then why not consider making a little brother for George? He's already a fine adult who's about to go off on his own, so it might be a good time to have another child. Hey, have a little sympathy for the new kid, and all the pain and suffering he'd have to live through. I'm surprised even George turned out as well as he did after being born from this sinister sister of mine. And what an awesome kid he is. Please share some of that with your blockhead of a son someday, will you? Yeah, oh god. Yawning, ain't I? That's not at all how it happened. It's thanks to Eva-Nasan's proper rearing that George became the kind, gentle kid he is now. Isn't that right, Nasan? Fuck. I mean, oh, come on now. You think so? Oh, George still has a long way to go. Ah, by the way, how's your little Angie doing? I heard she was vomiting. What? Oh, that's right. And I was hoping to finally see her face after such a long time. Is she okay? She often catches a cold when the seasons change. She's very frail. I did want to bring her along, but we decided to have my family look after her this time. I think that's a wise move. She'll heal a lot better if she stays away from that venomous head family household. A child's health is always more important than an adult's convenience, don't you agree? Don't you think? I know of some great medicine for vomiting colds like that. When we get back home, I'll send you some right away. So please let her try some. Thank you very much, Hideyoshi. I'm always in your debt. And once the conversation suddenly veered off in that direction, we kids didn't have any chance of butting in. For now, I'm just happy that Aunt Eva and Dad gave Dad his just desserts for tugging on my ear. Are we still waiting for the weather report? George pointed out the counter. The checking weather sign was still stuck next to the departure times for the flight we were scheduled to board. According to George, smaller planes are more subject to wind and other effects of the weather, and it's not at all uncommon for flights to be delayed because of that. Wait a sec, we are totally sure it's not going to shake right. From down here on the ground, it just looks cloudy, not windy. Well, I guess it's different up there, where planes fly. The weather's a bit uncertain today. Aunt Eva looked at the TV in the lounge. The weather forecast was being broadcasted, informing us that a typhoon was approaching the Kanto region. A typhoon again? Guess there's no helping it with the annual family conference being held in October. Couldn't he have chosen a better season? I agree. I've always hoped we could have some time around the Obon festival in mid-August. In that case, why don't you suggest that to Father and Nissan during the conference? Very funny. Why don't you do it yourself? Our brother would never listen to anything I suggested. No way. It doesn't really bother me that much to have it in October. I was just saying, you might want to propose it. Right, I'll end this video when they get to the plane. Since you said you hate typhoons so much. I only said that typhoon... Wait, did I? No, I didn't. I only said that typhoons always come around this time of year. You're the one who said you wanted to move it to the Obon festival, right? Well, you said it too last year. Didn't you say that it would be easier to fit into your schedule if we had it during the Obon festival? I never said anything like that. Oh yes, you did. I certainly wouldn't forget something like that. No, I didn't. You're the one saying that all the time. Didn't you know? Stopping a kick just a hair's breadth away from impact is a very high-level technique. Sheesh, women your age shouldn't spread their legs like that. Dad and Aunt Eva's argument looked no different from a couple of brats quarrelling. Even though they usually behave like normal parents, they turned right back into kids again when they meet their siblings at these family conferences. You're the one who looks like a real adult analysing it all calmly. I hope I never turn out like that old bastard. I'd much rather end up as an intellectual adult like you. Like me? Oh, I still have a long way to go. I still have very little experience out there in the real world, and I need to work on becoming more confident and sociable. I think you've far surpassed me on all of those counts, Butler. I'm sure you'll outstrip me fast enough when you become an adult. George scratched his head and laughed as though trying to hide his embarrassment. Of course, he was just being humble. George entered a university and became an apprentice at Uncle Hideyoshi's company at the same time studying both academics and how to become a business in parallel. I was going to say in parallel world because I'm an isekai simp. Then right after graduating, he got into Uncle Hideyoshi's company as his father's aide, piling up a lot of real-life experience. He devoted himself zealously to his work. His great... Nothing on. This was long. His great dream is to one day stand on his own and build up his own kingdom. George is a real paragon of a man, sparing no effort as he strives towards his goal. It's no exaggeration to say that I really respect him. And then there's me. I'm nothing at all like George. I'm living my happy-go-lucky idle high school life to the max. I've got no dreams for the future. I'd like to just sit back and stay cool and let the money flow in. But, of course, that could never happen. When George was my age, he had already formed an impressive objective and had started devoting himself towards studying for that goal, so I guess I can't compare it at all. My dad just says, sure, you can study at my company if you like, cleaning toilets. Damn it, I'm not gonna be in the debt of that old bastard. I find my way myself. If only my willpower was all it took to become an adult. Should I go on one of those self-searching journeys are all the rage these days? Well, it's not like I could mooch off my parents for that kind of money. Right, then Uncle Hideyoshi shouted out loudly. He's a really nice person on the whole, but he doesn't have a problem controlling the volume of his voice. When I looked over, I saw that he was greeting Aunt Rosa, who had come late. I'm not replicating that. If it isn't Rosa. Maria, long time no see. Long time no see. Ooh. Maria. Shouldn't that be it's good to see you again? Greet your uncle properly. Oh. It's good to see you again. There you go. Well said. How about some candy as a reward? Uh-huh. Where'd I put it? Rosa, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you too, Maria. It's been too long, Kiria. Hideyoshi. And... oh my, Battler? Look how big you've gotten. Ah, come on. It's embarrassing hearing that from every person I meet. Hey, Rosa. You're late. If the plane was on time, you'd barely have made it. I'm sorry. We had some trouble making our train connection. So, are we waiting on the weather again? Oh, don't complain. I much prefer 30-minute plane trips to spending 6 hours bouncing on a boat. Even if we kept waiting here for an hour, it's still much faster overall. Maria-chan's gotten huge too. So how tall are you now? So how tall am I now? Maria parroted Uncle Hideyoshi's question, looked at her mother. I guess she doesn't remember her own height. She's probably right in the middle of a growth spurt, so her height must change every month. Give it a few more years and she'll suddenly start looking feminine. Just how tall were you the last time you got measured? You keep getting bigger and bigger, don't you? Right? Oh. I think she's grown a lot since last year. Let's see, she turned 9 years old this year, didn't she? 9 years old? Ooh. That's right, you're 9 years old now. Glad to see you're doing well too, Maria. That's right, you're 9 years old now. Glad to see you're doing well too. Wait, the fuck, it flashed, so I thought it was a new line, but it's not. Up you go! I guess you've gotten a bit too heavy to play airplane with. George, what a rude thing to say to a lady. Here, I'll do it. Up you go. Oh. When I went to lift her up in George's place, Maria stiffened defensively, staring suspiciously at my face. After that's right. That's right. The last time I met Maria, it was 6 years ago, and she was only 3 years old. Of course she doesn't remember my face. Maria, don't you remember? It's Butler. Used to play together, remember? Ooh. No surprise, I guess. The last time she met Butler, she was only 3. You don't keep memories at all at that age. She must know everyone's face apart from mine, because she meets them every year, but I haven't had contact with the Ushiromiya family for about 6 years now. So it's no surprise that this 9-year-old girl doesn't have any memories of me. Even I can only just barely remember her being a 3-year-old crybaby. Maria. This is Butler. Rudolph's son. Understand? The brother's son is... The brother is the son. Huh? Ooh. That ooh sound was probably her brain going into overload at that complicated explanation. I guess the phrasing of that was a bit confusing. Ni or Oni, the title you'd use to refer to an actual older brother, can also be a friendly honorific for a boy who's only a bit older than you. It's just like Ne-chan or One-chan. No, Ne or One. The word for big sister. Maria. This is Butler. He's your cousin, like me. Like George? Why do I have to click so much for these dots? Are you fucking kidding me? It's just more dots. Butler. Cousin. That's right. You got it. This part of George is what makes me really look up to him. For some reason, for someone who isn't married, he's just great at dealing with kids. I'm sure he'll be an indulgent father in the future. Butler? Maria looked straight at me with a questioning expression, as though asking whether it was okay to call me that. Yep, that's me, Butler. Nice to meet you, Maria. Ooh, Butler. Wow, we've already breached an hour, boys. Well, for me, it's probably a bit behind because I cut out the intro and a tiny bit of my conversation. Maria, you mustn't talk to him like that. Call him Butler. That's alright, Aunt Rosa. I don't sweat the small stuff. Hey Maria. We're close enough that we don't need honorifics, got it? I mean, right? Butler, 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 Woo. That's right, Maria. Maria. Jesus fucking Christ, I just got... Oh my fucking god, he did it, boys. He did it. We horsed around for a while to make up for the 6-year gap in our friendship. She probably still thinks of me as nothing more than a big new friend, but things will probably work out as we get to know each other once again. But I'm surprised. She's just the way I remember her being 6 years ago. Seems that people just don't change that much after all. I'm a bit happy that she's still the pure innocent girl I remember. Her name is written... It looks like a medical cross. I don't know how to describe those other two. Like, of course, blank, whatever that is a pronunciation for. It's pronounced Maria. The third character looks like a cross, which is pretty cool. See, I said that. Her feelings don't usually show up on her face, so it can be difficult to know just what she's thinking about. But that's just how she looks on the outside. And on the inside, she's just a sweet, normal girl. Then there's Maria's mother, Aunt Rosa. She is my dad's younger sister. Rosa is written that way. Here's a name that's totally not Japanese. Sorry to say it, but her name's almost as ridiculous as Dad's. I've got to respect her for not ending up as screwed up as he is. I think it's only messed up because it's like pronounced an English way. When I think about it, all the names in my family sound foreign. Well, Rudolph's more like... Rudolph's what you would commonly associate with, not English, but like one of the other countries from like a big land. I think Rosa's like a posh, maybe British name. Battler is just a British word. It's just a word in English, I mean. Just why is grandfather so obsessed with that? Because of him, even we grandchildren have put up with this weird naming sense. It's even more annoying since grandfather's own name is perfectly normal. Anyway, there's one thing about Aunt Rosa that's a relief compared to the other family members. The old bastard and Aunt Eva have this annoying urge to tease and mock people all the time. But even though she shares their blood, Aunt Rosa isn't like that at all. She has the most common sense among all of the siblings. Like Uncle Hideyoshi, she's a kind aunt who'll always be on the kid's side. However, possibly because she's more strict as a parent, she's not liberal with handing out spending money like Uncle Hideyoshi. Okay, now we have the entire group of family members who are going to board the plane. At that moment, as though it had waited for us all to arrive, an announcement rang out through the lobby. Our apologies for the delay. Boarding will now commence for flight 201 to Nijima. We ask that the passengers please form 2 lines in front of the counter behind the white line. Rosa, you still haven't gotten through the boarding procedures, right? Hurry up. Oh no. Maria, come on. Ooh. Right. We had to go through a metal detector before going out on the runway. A small plane wasn't as massive as an international flight, but it was still a plane. A staff member holding a metal detector checked us all. Once all of us cleared the check, we followed the staff member out onto the runway. Come to think of it, everyone here is in the Ushiromiya family. It's like this is a reserved charter flight or something. Our group stopped in front of the entrance to the airplane. Then our guide turned around and spoke, looking down at the passenger list as he did. Boarding will now commence. As I call out the names of the passenger list, please take your seats in order, starting from the front row on the right side and going right to left, then onto the next row. I will now begin reading the passenger list. Hideyoshi. Oh, I'm first. Right here. By the way, do you have some candy, Eva? I've been looking all over for some, but I can't find any. Eva. Oh, it says Eva. They're in my handbag. I'll get one once we're inside the plane. I've heard that candy's a good way to protect your ears from hurting because of variations of atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. That's probably what they're talking about. Hope I get a window seat. Don't worry. There aren't any other kinds of seats. As George said, there were apparently only 2 lines of seats. So this is what a small plane is like. We are totally sure it's not gonna shake right. You sure, George? Right here. Don't worry about that. It won't shake too much. Battler. George? What do you mean, not too much? You can just swim if you fall from a boat, but if a plane crashes, you're screwed, right? We all get our own parachutes in our seats, don't we? Wait, we don't? Rudolph. Come on, Battler. Stop standing there, slack-jawed, and get in. Ow, Dad. Don't push me. We don't get parachutes. Kyrie. Okay, you two stop fooling around. Let's move on in. Ow, Kyrie. Don't push me. This blockhead isn't moving. Sure, Maria. Let's move on in. Rosa. Maria. Be quiet. Right, so now that we're in the plane, I'm gonna... Has the music gotten louder? Well, it doesn't matter right now. Seeing as we got to the plane, we're inside the plane, First, I'm gonna read all of the character profiles we got, because we got quite a few. We still got quite a bit more to go. I'm assuming red lines as family members. That box is probably one of the special characters, and these are the servants. So, I'm gonna read them all, so, like, if you want to ignore the ones I've already read out, you can. But, yeah, I'm gonna read them. I will continue this later if you want. Again, this is just only a test run to see if you like it. And if you do like it, just comment what you want. I'll read these. And yeah, I'll just do this and then I'll say goodbye. Ushiromiya Battler, the son of Rudolph and his wife Asumu. Asumu? When his father married a second wife shortly after Asumu's death, Battler rebelled and went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he has now returned to the Ushiromiya family after 6 years. This family conference is a chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6-year gap. Ushiromiya Kyrie, Rudolph's second wife. She had already worked alongside him for some time before the death of his first wife, at which time she openly took the position of his wife. She has served as Rudolph's right hand in several shady pieces of business, guiding them to success. She is quick-thinking and well-trusted by her husband, Ushiromiya Rudolph, Kinzo's third child. Along with his sister Eva, whatever, he intends to make his voice heard during the family conference to prevent their older sibling Kraus from keeping all of their family's wealth for himself. His former wife, Asumu, passed away 6 years ago, and he married his current wife, Kyria, shortly after that. Ushiromiya George, Eva and Hideyoshi's son, an affable young man liked by everyone in the family. He is currently studying as an assistant for his father's company, and it seems he dreams of making it on his own one day. As the oldest brother of the 4 cousins, he acts as their leader and arbitrator. Ushiromiya Hideyoshi, Eva's husband. He took his wife's name upon their marriage and became a member of the Ushiromiya family. He therefore does not possess the spiteful genes passed down through the Ushiromiya family members, and his bright smile is very refreshing at the family conferences. He started his business from scratch and now works as the president of a medium-sized restaurant chain. This chain seems to be growing and performing extremely well. Ushiromiya Eva, Kinzo's second child. She is hostile toward her brother Kraus and opposes him whenever she can. From issues dealing with family fortune to the question of who will succeed the family headship. Normally she would have lost her place in the Ushiromiya family register upon her marriage, but she managed to forcibly overcome this by having her husband take her family name. Ushiromiya Rosa, Kinzo's 4th child. She is by far the youngest of the 4 siblings. It seems that this gives her a weaker position at the family conference. She manages a design company, but she has yet to start taking it seriously, and its financial situation is far from favourable. Ushiromiya Maria. Oh god, that's her name. Rosa's daughter. Her father's identity is unknown. She can't shake off the habit of speaking like a young child, which often earns her a scolding. She has no interest in studying or making friends, but it is very interested in things that concern the occult and black magic. Thanks to her excellent powers of memorization, she knows all kinds of obscure trivia. This is my favourite character. You will see why in the coming chapter, but for now, I'm gonna head off. I'll save it right here. Oh well, I did have a save, but back there. Right, so there, it's saved. So yeah, I'm gonna come off now, and I'll see you guys later. Maybe in the next video, maybe not. Maybe I'll just upload this on its max, just kind of mute the part with the opening.